let's make some changes. For a while now, I've been kind of rocking the same profile picture for a decent amount of time now, and I feel like it's not that professional, so I kind of want to like up my game in terms of how I present myself online. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of what I have going on right now, but I think just in terms of social media content, what we kind of post on Instagram, and obviously like we're gonna take care of today, our profile picture, I just kind of want to start taking things a little bit more seriously. Hey, so what do we actually have planned? I think the profile picture we're going for is a black and white, very simple headshot that we can use across all platforms, of course. We have the white backdrop. We're wearing our black shirt to kind of keep it nice and simple. Now, allow me to preface, I am not a photographer. I'm a graphic designer first. So photography for me is more of a hobby, but I try to take seriously as much as I can. So in terms of terminology and stuff like that, lighting setups, I don't really know all the details, but I kind of know some general setups that can really kind of help get you in the right direction. So feel free to follow along if you're trying to do something similar, but I'm sure there's tons of tutorials that you can check out online. So we're gonna be trying out two lighting setups today. One, which is a bit more standard, which is really just having the light source coming from one particular direction and then kind of filling in the other side of my face with like a fill card, basically like a white piece of like paper or something like that, just to kind of bounce some of that light back into the shadow so it's not super contrasty. And if we want to make it more contrast, we can always just do that in post. And the other lighting setup, which is something I actually never have done before, is lighting the subject from two different light sources, both pretty much equally in strength. I'll throw some reference photos of roughly what I'm trying to look for. Anything after that will kind of be the cherry on top in terms of lighting setups and just kind of experimentation and really just having fun with it. So with that being said, let's get the setup going. Allow me to interrupt this video real quick. This video is sponsored by my own personal brand, Sayins Media. We just relaunched the website. We did a ton of just updates and cosmetic appearance stuff, and we kind of changed how we sort of do things here at Sayins Media. So if you guys need any design work when it comes to branding or logos, things like that, social media stuff, infographics, app design, web design, anything like that, please hit us up. Make sure to check the link in the description for sayinsmedia.com. Feel free to look around, check out the new layout and the new look that we implemented. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much. Back to the video. All right, so I apologize for the shoddy quality. I'm on the iPhone, but the setup is essentially good. We got the camera set up. Obviously, we're taking portraits, so we're kind of putting it obviously in its portrait mode. We got our two lights here and here, and then we also added, we have this speed light that we use, like the on-camera flash, so that it can actually illuminate the backdrop so that it doesn't look like more gray, but it actually appears white in the photo. So we're trying out this lighting setup first with the two lights on either side. Camera set up, we have our seating position, everything's pretty much set up. So wish us luck, and hopefully we get a shot that we like. So. Okay, so I'm really liking this one, I think, out of all the ones that we've taken so far. I'm gonna try out taking one of these lights down, or not fully taking it, just shutting it off so it's not actually flashing. But everything else is pretty much gonna stay the same. I think the only difference is that, let's say, I think we're gonna keep this one on, and what we're gonna do is we're going to shut this one off and angle this one a bit closer so that the angle is a little bit more direct. We already have these flaps up, so maybe, hopefully that's enough light to kind of bounce back towards the other side of our face that won't be lit from an actual light, but mainly just the light that's being reflected off of the V-flaps that we have set up. Light will still be back here set up, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I kind of landed on this one. This one will kind of take a little bit of some touching up in like Lightroom and stuff, where kind of notice there's a lot of like deeper shadows, or there's a bit of a gradient here, and that's just because of where the light kind of starts and then it kind of goes up from there. I definitely could have used a better job of maybe even taking the time to set this light up there to be able to light the entire background, but I don't know, for the sake of time, I don't really see that it's really necessary. So that's the only thing we might need to kind of bring up, just to kind of make this a bit more even, but I know exactly how I can handle that, so I'm not really too worried about that. But this is the one that I think I'm kind of gravitating towards. So we have this one and the one with the two lights on either side. So essentially that's pretty much it. We're going to take down the set. I'm gonna head home, check out these photos and kind of edit them, mess with them a little bit, and then I can actually give you my final thoughts of the final product. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll see you guys back at home. All right, and just like that, we are back. So we're at the setup at home, and we've imported the images into Lightroom. We have 3 different images that I like for different reasons, and I've imported all of them into Lightroom. 2 of them are under the same lighting condition in terms of the first one, and then the last image is part of the second lighting setup that we had. So taking a look at them right off the bat, something that I noticed that I definitely could improve upon if I were to do this again is that I wish I nailed the focus better. So I was having some issues with autofocus, and so I kind of just decided to take the image in manual focus. And typically what you would do is you would just grab an object or try to find that rough area that your subject is going to be in, try to focus in that area, and then just leave it. Don't touch the camera, don't change the position, and just leave the camera as is. But the issue with this is that sometimes, depending on maybe your posture or kind of how you're positioned, that focus field can be kind of off. So you can kind of see here, it's ever so slightly out of focus when it comes to my face. It's pretty much there, but you can kind of tell that realistically the focus area is actually somewhere kind of in my front torso area. Like my chain kind of seems to be pretty much in focus, my neck is mainly in focus, but my face is ever so slightly out of focus. You can also see that here in this second image, where I think it's actually more obvious in this one that my face kind of seems out of focus, but the actual focus point seems to be closer to where, once again, where my neck is and kind of like my front torso. The image that actually was in focus, surprisingly, was this one, which was supposed to be something a little bit more kind of simple. And you can kind of see that my face seems to be a lot more in focus compared to this one, and everything kind of seems a little bit more on the same plane. I think part of this is also because I'm also sitting up straight, so that focus plane is a little bit more kind of vertical compared to these where I was kind of leaning forward for the actual pose I was trying to do. But all in all, it's not that bad, especially if this is going to be a profile picture. Typically they're very small anyway, so it doesn't really bother me that much. We can always try to fix it in post, and that's what we're gonna try to do a little bit, but it is what it is. Now, in terms of which photo actually ended up being my favorite, I have to say it definitely has to be this one over the others. And what I'll do is I'll actually compare this photo with this one. This was also the first time I ever tried the 2-light setup. Typically, I've always gone with the more default setup, and what I'm coming to find is that I actually really do prefer it. I think it's a lot more unique. I think it's something that's seen a lot less often. Obviously, there are times where you definitely don't want to do that, but in this instance, I'm finding it to be a lot more just kind of dynamic and interesting and intriguing, really, at the end of the day. Not that I don't like this one. I think this is just something that I've seen too often. Maybe I could have played around with this light just a little bit more and changed sides, but just looking at them now, this one seems a little bit more basic, and this one just seems a bit more intriguing, to me at least. But I'm happy I tried out both, and this was honestly a great experiment to kind of help me kind of figure out what I kind of like and what my style would be. But regardless, we are going to edit both of them. We're going to do some minor tweaks in Lightroom in terms of just kind of messing with the basic edits and kind of adding a little bit of sharpening to kind of help with the out of focus elements that are in the photo. And then we're going to convert them to black and white, and then we'll kind of reconvene there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Essentially, this is the side-by-side with these two different lighting setups implemented. Now I think it's just pretty much up to me to kind of figure out between these two different images. And I think just in terms of personality, I think in terms of just uniqueness kind of in general, I think I'm going to lean with the one on the right, just because there's a little bit more going on. You're not going to notice that much that it is ever so slightly out of focus compared to the one on the left. Honestly, when I took this photo, I kind of had a good feeling that this was going to be the one, but I obviously wanted to kind of continue shooting. And yeah, I think this was honestly a fun experiment. Let me know down in the comments how I could have honestly done better when it comes to either the lighting setup. Again, I am not a photographer, so this isn't my main thing, but I do try to take it seriously, and I try to learn with every new experience that I have when it comes to just shooting photos really in general. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like down below if you guys actually like the video. If not, maybe next time. Subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy, take care, brush your hair. Laters. Bye.